back to another video. I'm your host, Matt Talk Sports, and today I will be listing my top 8 teams that I think could possibly win Super Bowl 59, and coming in at dead last, aka number 8, I have the Philadelphia Eagles, and honestly, I would have had someone else at number 8 if they didn't pick up Saquon Barkley on free agency, but I think they had a really hard start this season, and they definitely could have made the Super Bowl if they kept that hot streak, and obviously they had a midseason collapse. But they also have a lot of talent in A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, aka Dallas Goat, and Jalen Hurts. So I definitely think they have a fighting chance in this up-and-coming Super Bowl. And next up, at number 7, we have the Buffalo Bills. And I would have put them a little bit higher if they maintained their whole secondary in free agency. But with that aside, they had somewhat of a shaky season, as I'd say. They started 6-6, not even in the wild card picture. And after their bye week, they really turned things around and went 11-6 to make the playoffs and, as we all know, basically steal the division from the Dolphins, almost making it to the AFC Championship, but losing a heartbreaking game in Bills fashion.
The game on the line, he will. 44 yards, Bass. No, he doesn't make it. Wide right.
Alright, after moving on from what gave every Bills fan watching this video a heart attack, we have the Detroit Lions at number 6. And let me get this clear, they had an amazing season going 12-5, which really should have been 13-4, since they basically were cheated out of that game in Dallas. But personally, I think they did an absolute choke job in the NFC Championship. You were up 24-7, and you just can't lose that lead, and you're just not going to get a Super Bowl victory when that happens to you. Also, I think Dan Campbell is somewhat of the reason to blame, as he could have went for those field goals, obviously probably winning that game, in which the Lions definitely could have went for their first Super Bowl title. And moving on, at number 5, we have the Houston Texans, obviously winning their division and sadly losing in the wild card to the Baltimore Ravens. But they definitely have an absolute stud quarterback in C.J. Stroud, and I think he will develop so much. I think he will be so good next season. Obviously, we'll get the tip of the iceberg when he plays against the Bears in that Hall of Fame game. And he also has a stud in a wide receiver, Tank Dell, and that backfield of Joe Mixon. I expect a lot from the Texans this season, and obviously them winning their division once again. Alright, coming in hot at number 4, I have the Green Bay Packers. And the reason why I have them just above the Texans is because Jordan Love didn't really need a wide receiver 1 to be good. Obviously, Jordan Love was also mentored by the one and only Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers was mentored by Brett Favre, so it's just a whole cycle and tree. And not even relating to that, his team was injury prone, but he basically carried his team on the back and made it to the divisional round, losing heartbreakingly, and almost made the NFC Championship. All right, next up at number 3, I have the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this team this year made the AFC Championship and lost such a close game, 17-10, to now the defending Super Bowl champions, the Chiefs. And I fully believe that the Ravens will make it back to the AFC Championship, and specifically because they got the GOAT, the legend, King Henry. And they definitely have my trust that they will make it back to the AFC Championship. And they have my trust that they will make it to Super Bowl 59. And moving on, I have my top 2 picks on who I will think will make Super Bowl 59. And barely missing out on number 1, you have the San Francisco 49ers. Now, obviously, this team made it to the Super Bowl, losing in overtime to the Kansas City Chiefs. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, their season was incredible. Obviously, going 13-4, winning the NFC, making it, beating the Packers in a close game, coming back in that Detroit Lions game in the NFC Championship, but sadly and ultimately losing to the Kansas City Chiefs, not being able to get it done. But just the grand scheme of things, all their players have looked good. Everything about them just screams Super Bowl champions, so I truly believe they have a really good shot once again at making and winning the Super Bowl. And at number 1, you have your defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, if I'm going to be perfectly clear here, they didn't have the perfect season. Obviously, they were forgotten mid through the season, and people were thinking either the Ravens or the Niners would win the Super Bowl. But I have a feeling that you should not count out the Kansas City Chiefs when they're in the playoffs. Obviously, almost in a way having a midseason collapse, but bouncing back from that and winning your division when it was up for grabs, you just got to give bravo to them. And it just shows how good this team is and how good this team will be. So at number 1, I have the Kansas City Chiefs, who will most likely win Super Bowl 59. And if you disagree, I like a comment down below and telling me reason why. And if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe. Sure does help. Thank you, and peace.